You gotta let me know. Gotta let me know. You gotta let me know. You gotta let me know. Gotta let me know. 'Cause I don't wanna let you go.
Welcome back to the Anytime Sports Podcast Show. I'm your co-host, Colin. I'm here with my other co-host, Andrew.
Let's go. Different setup again. We know we're back at my house, but not at our usual setup. Just right back there. It's a mess right now, but, it's all fine. As long as the podcast can go through.
Yeah, we're getting your podcast material like we promised. There's a lot of NFL news and trades that we have to catch up on. Since March 14th, a lot has broken down and been done. So,
we're basically going to go through our story from the past week because I've been posting every single piece of news that we found. So we're going to be looking on our phones, looking through the stories from this past week. Start off, number one, I don't know if we mentioned it last time, Johnny Hekker is getting released by the Rams, which we now know he's getting picked up by the Panthers. As we saw Panthers last season, they were hosting open tryouts for kicking, even though Johnny Hecker's a punter.
Well, the kicker got injured, so yeah, of course. And then another piece of news is the Steelers are expected to sign Miles Jack to a 2-year, $16 million contract. I think that's a good signing for them.
Yep.
Miles Jack was a good addition to the Jags defense, one of the few bright spots on their team last season.
Are we just going to ignore the fact that the Steelers also signed Mitchell Trubisky?
Yeah. I think we went over that last week.
Yeah, we did.
But that
Steelers are getting a stack
quarterback. I think he's still a good quarterback. He'll be good at the coaching staff filled in Chicago. We'll get into that later, and we'll get into what I predict. But another big piece of news is the Bills signed Von Miller to a 6-year, $120 million contract. That's a massive deal.
Massive.
And it's massive for the Bills. They needed a pass rusher to complement their defense. They got a good secondary. They just needed a good pass rusher. I think this is a great news if you're a Buffalo fan because Von Miller's on your team.
Yeah. We like we said before, I know we didn't mention it on the podcast, but we said Von Miller basically finessed his way into that trade. 6 years, he's 32 years old. I mean, great for him, but like the Bills, you're getting a great guy on your team. That defense was electric last year. Just add Von Miller onto that.
It was the number one defense in the league. I mean, and they'll get some more pass rush now with that, and that'll help if your defense stops more 3-and-outs and more takeaways. It gives your offense more momentum, more things to deal with, which is always good. And that offense could take a step up. Also, O.J. Howard signed a 1-year deal to the Buffalo Bills, which is good to complement Knox. He'll get another tight end, a guy that's very good. O.J. Howard is no slouch of a tight end. He is very good. He was injured last season, but he is signing on with a new team.
Another thing we also saw is two things. Jakeem Grant from the Bears is now on the Browns, and Baker, another thing with the Browns, Baker was skeptical about he released a letter last week about a bunch of stuff with him and the Browns, so he doesn't want to be in them anymore. Right now we're seeing not trade rumors.
And it led to the big elephant in the room, the Deshaun Watson trade. 3 first-round picks and a 5th-round pick. And he's sent to Cleveland. That is a huge trade. I mean, we all thought that Cleveland was out of the conversation. Apparently, reports were that it was cold there. He didn't want to play in cold. He played in Houston. He played in the southern areas his whole childhood as a kid. And he didn't want to go cold weather. And then they called him back, said, hey, we can do it. He's got the best guaranteed money ever in a contract, $200 million guaranteed. Whew, that man's laughing to the bank.
Yeah, exactly. Deshaun Watson, he's played 2 seasons, then he had all his scandals last year. Basically a way. Nick Chubb, with Peoples-Jones, with Amari Cooper now. He's got this main weapon. We know Nick Chubb is a beast.
Myles Garrett, you got Nick Chubb.
Think of it. Think of that division now. They got Mitch. Think of that division. They got Lamar. They got Mitch. They got Watson, and they got Mitch Trubisky, and then they got Joey B. That's gonna be a first division.
It's a good division. It gives the AFC West a run for their money of best divisions. We all been talking about the AFC West and how good they have done. But to speak on another piece of AFC news, the Rams are expected to sign Raheem Mostert to their running back core, which is good. He's a guy that he's not gonna be your number one guy, but he could be a running back by committee, a good option to the goal line. He was very good, very explosive when healthy, though.
You never know. I mean, they're gonna put him and he's gonna get out after one snap. He's gonna get injured for the season. And another thing,
he's good if he doesn't break.
Moving along the Raiders making major signings this week.
They're not in California. They're in Las Vegas.
I know, around the California area. Raiders signing Chandler Jones onto their defense.
Yeah, that's a good signing. I mean, Chandler Jones he's very good. He was on the Cardinals for a lot of years, and now he's moving on. It'll add a very good pass rush. They need to add some more pass rush to help Matt Crosby out, and I think they did so with that signing. It's very good. Now to pivot back to the NFC, we had the Buccaneers reached an agreement with wide receiver Chris Godwin to extend his contract to a 3-year, $60 million deal. Good for both parties.
Yeah.
And I think it's nice that he's staying in Tampa Bay.
Another thing, back to the Raiders. Devontae to the Raiders.
Devontae
that was an amazing trade by the Raiders. You managed to get, like, arguably the best receiver in the league. I'm going to back up Devontae more now because he's not on the Packers. I'm going to say you managed to get pretty much the number one receiver in the league.
Now, as he's traded, now we as Bears fans can admit he is the best wide receiver in the league.
But you managed to get the best receiver in the league for only picks in this year. You only gave up a first and a second. So they go back to next year, and they literally get another first-round pick, which is amazing because you only give up 1 year for this guy. That was an absolute steal for them, an absolute steal for Devontae because he gets to play in a warm climate in a new stadium with a great team. And with his college quarterback, Derek Carr.
Yeah, another key release is Julio Jones was released. He is expected to sign with somebody. We do not know yet. Tom Brady gave him a call. Hey, let's go to Tampa Bay. Let's see if that happens. We don't know if it'll happen, but another key notable guy that got released, Fletcher Cox. Very good for any defensive line that you want to fill a need there.
He's
Akeem
older.
Hicks is still on the free agency mark. We haven't seen where he.
Another thing.
He signed, and the Bengals did re-sign Eli Apple for losing him a Super Bowl.
Toaster.
For him, for causing them to lose a Super Bowl, they're going to re-sign him to a $4 million deal. So he's going to get another $4 million for letting a wide receiver score touchdowns.
Another thing is, I want to say, we kind of messed up with the Raheem Mostert news. He's on the Dolphins. He officially signed with the Dolphins, not the Rams.
I said Rams?
You said Rams.
No, I meant Dolphins. Oh, my gosh. Why did I say
Now we're going to go
Rams?
back to that. He's going to be the RB1 there. We don't know if he's going to get injured or not. But
running back by committee there.
Yeah.
So, who knows about that? Damian Williams signed a 1-year deal with the Falcons to complement the running game with Cordell Patterson, who just re-signed with the Falcons this week.
Yeah, right? Another thing. Really hurts us Bears fans, but Pat O'Donnell on the Packers now. We really thought he said he was going to retire a Bear for life. I feel betrayed. His brother has a Pat O'Donnell jersey.
I'm crying internally.
Yeah, like franchise punter. Ruined out the window. But no, gonna get some young guy. Bears are getting younger.
You wish you were you remember the good old days, but oh gosh.
Another thing is Jimmy Garoppolo is still out there for any team that really wants him. The Niners aren't giving him up. Colts news, we'll cover that later. The rumors on it here are he is going to the Colts, but we know what happened there. We'll cover that later. You guys probably know by now, but we don't know where Jimmy G is going to go. If the Niners will keep him, we'll get into that later. But
Chiefs free agent Byron Pringle was expected to sign with the Bears, and he did sign with the Bears on a 1-year, $6 million contract. That doesn't really help the Bears as much, but they don't truly have a number one. This guy's fast. He could be a number two, but I don't think
Darnell Mooney, I think, is their number one.
Very questionable decision by the coaching staff, but
he is a younger guy, which could help him. He was fast last year. He could help him in returns, but, I mean, he's a great guy. Wish they went for someone like Juju, but Juju, we know, went to the Chiefs, as we're going to cover that. But another thing is, I want the Bears to pick up Tyrann Mathieu. Even though he's older, he's still out there.
They're not going to pick him up.
They're not going to pick him up. They're going for some younger guys. They're drafting for the future, but
the Titans signed Austin Hooper to a 1-year contract worth $6 million. Good for him. He's getting some money. And Titans, they should use him pretty well there in that offense. The Browns are now having trade calls for Baker Mayfield. Who knows where is he going to go? Is he going to go to Carolina? Is he going to go to Seattle? Those are like the two options that stick out to me. I think it's going to be Carolina. Carolina desperately needs a quarterback. I think he could fill their option. I think Carolina could also draft a quarterback. So maybe if Baker's not the option, this guy could be the option. So I think it makes the most sense for them to do so like that. And I honestly think the Seattle Seahawks are very content with Drew Lock right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's their quarterback. That's their guy. They're sticking with that. I think they gave up enough for Russ that they got to stick with Drew. He's at that filler piece until next year when they could get that draft pick. They don't want to do good this year, so they could get the bad draft pick and get that young quarterback next year when the quarterback class is better.
Very much so. And we just touched on it earlier, but Juju Smith signed with the Chiefs on a 1-year deal, $10 million. So they don't really trust. They don't really not really trust him, but they do have $10 million to give him this year, and hopefully he'll go ball out. I mean, he's not going to be the number one there like he was in Pittsburgh, so maybe he'll have better luck. Because when he was the number 2, he was very, very good with Antonio Brown. And he was a very good wide receiver. So let's see if that could happen. The pairing up between this is going to be like the most dynamic duo of the century. Pairing up Jackson Mahomes and Juju Smith-Schuster.
And Brittany Mahomes. Patrick is in for a treat this year.
To make some.
If Patrick wants to compete with the entire AFC, his division being stacked, the Bengals division being stacked.
Does he know that it gives people motivation when they play him to see Jackson Mahomes on the sideline TikTok dancing?
Yeah, really, real quick, are we just gonna mention this mic setup coming from the ceiling?
Hey, whatever works. It works.
Another thing is Allen Robinson being released by the Bears, as we all know, and then he got picked up by the Rams. The Rams are in a very interesting situation, which we also know. Where did he go? Robert Woods got traded.
Oh, he didn't?
Yeah, he did. He got picked up by someone.
Robert Woods? Yeah. Oh, Robert Woods got traded to the Titans, right?
Oh, yeah, Robert Woods to the Titans. The Titans need another guy that 1-2 with...
For a 6th-round draft pick.
It was Robert Woods for a 6th-rounder.
If my team had a 6th-round draft pick, I would just send it to him right away. If that's all it took was to get him there, I don't know why more teams didn't call or add it for like a 5th-round or a 4th-round draft pick. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'd spend a 4th, but I'd spend a 5th. But, like, it just doesn't make sense why more teams wouldn't go for it. I guess cap space, I don't get why the Bears didn't go for it. I don't get why other teams like that didn't go for it.
Yeah, other teams
it just didn't make sense to me.
Other teams that are wide receiver desperate didn't go for him. He's still somewhat young guy. He's coming off of an injury, but...
I mean, he's an older guy. He's in his 30s. So, I mean, he's coming off an injury, which is always, you don't know. He's going to be back earlier than someone like Odell Beckham Jr., so... They still have to resign Odell, so maybe they do.
Yeah, the Rams are in an interesting spot. They got Allen Robinson, they got Cooper Kupp, they got OBJ. Yeah, that's a big
not
3
OBJ
duo.
Under contract.
Yeah, not necessarily, but if they resign him, and they also got Van Jefferson.
They got some guys there. Another notable news to say: the Cowboys signed a really good, underrated wide receiver, in my opinion. Wide receiver James Washington out of Pittsburgh. That is a very good wide receiver right there. He was a wide receiver basically when Juju was out. He was the guy they went to, and he caught a lot more balls than Juju did, and he was very good, and I think it's a very underrated, and in that offense, you're going to need some guys to step up. CeeDee Lamb's going to be the number 1, obviously. The number 2 would be Michael Gallup. Number 3 would be James Washington. I think he could definitely either fight for that number 2, or he could stay at the number 3, and I think he could be very, very productive.
Yep, and another thing is the Patriots are hosting free agent Malcolm Butler, the Super Bowl saving corner.
He ride off.
He's old. He's older. He's 32 right now, but I think Bill Belichick wants him back, and he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back. Bill Belichick will do whatever he can to get him back.
Another form of draft news is linebacker David Obajobi, who injured himself during his pro day, had a torn Achilles, and it was very concerning. Not many people around the NFL seem to be really concerned, but that's a huge draft. That's like a 1st-round draft pick.
Oh no, yeah, no, it's the other guy. Larry Ogunjobi was the guy that was gonna sign with the Bears.
This is this guy.
Yeah, that's the Michigan guy. Larry David Ojabo or something.
Ojabo.
Whatever. But back to the Larry Ogunjobi. He didn't sign with the Bears officially. They were going to sign him. He was welcome to Chicago, but he failed his physical, and the Bears didn't accept him to his team because of a failed physical, which I give credit to the Bears for, because if you have a guy that you got, but he's not healthy, I'd rather you sign a younger guy that is healthy, but isn't as great. Because if he's not healthy, don't sign him. He's a waste of money then. But the Bears did pick up Al-Quanid Muhammad. He's a defensive end from the Colts. He's been great the past couple of years. His stat lines were amazing. But we're going to get into the most recent news that we found out today. Matt Ryan To the Colts?
Oh, we're getting into that already?
Yeah, we'll
I'm
go
not
back.
even up.
We'll go back. Matt Ryan to the Colts.
Oh, Matt Ryan to the Colts. I think it's a good signing of the best quarterback you had available. I think as soon as the Falcons, reports were saying that as soon as the Falcons had interest in Deshaun Watson, the Colts got the phone. They called Matt Ryan. Apparently, Matt Ryan was their guy all along. Mm-hmm. So they called up the Falcons and said, "Hey, are you ready to get rid of Matt Ryan?" And they're ready to get rid of him. They got. What was the pick that they sent him?
They sent a third rounder for him.
A third round pick,
which is a steal for a guy that's been to a Super Bowl, had playoff runs, who had decent years.
Frank Reich said, "Let me have the opposite of Carson Wentz," and that's where he got Matt Ryan. Because Matt Ryan's a very, very conservative guy, where he doesn't really like throwing the ball. Not like throwing the ball like through really bad situations. He'll throw interceptions, but he won't throw like. When he's like with his left hand.
Yeah, another thing
like
as we've been mentioning
like that.
With that Colts team, they also got Pittman, they got JT, they got a good offense, they got Quentin Nelson, they got a good offense, added decent quarterback to it, who's been on a team that's been bad these past years, with a good team that we saw with Matt Stafford when he got to the Rams. He did great because he was on the Lions forever, and mentioned that Colts defense as well that could help him out.
Oh, definitely. I think that Colts team is primed to go on a run here, maybe to the playoffs. I don't think a Super Bowl is in their cards.
No, not in the next few years.
Not in the next few years. I think Matt Ryan might be a placeholder for other quarterbacks. What really hurt this team is when Andrew Luck left years ago. They haven't been able to find a suitable QB. They could have had a Super Bowl by now if he was there. But another notable news, the Rams are giving Matthew Stafford a 4-year, $160 million extension that includes $135 million guaranteed.
Great for Matthew Stafford. He was great last year. I don't see why you don't re-sign him. Great guy.
He's a great quarterback. And they just spend money and
they're just pulling money out of nowhere. Jacoby
Brissett expected to sign with the Browns, so he is their backup.
Yeah,
Baker's going to be on the move definitely soon. The Bills traded for quarterback Case Keenum as their backup.
They gave a seventh, which is a steal.
Well, it is a steal for the fact that if Josh Allen does go down, Case Keenum is a good backup to fill up for, and he'll win you some games. That may be a move that leads them to a playoff, like our first seed or something like that. That is a good move out there. The Browns and Will Fuller have a mutual agreement, like they're looking into maybe coming together, which could be very optional now that Deshaun Watson's there, and he could come to Cleveland, and I think he's a very fast wide receiver. The only thing that has hurt him is his injury prone, and who knows, but
and another piece of news is Jameis Winston re-signed with the Saints on a 2-year, $28 million deal, which is great for the Saints. I know they're low on money. Jameis Winston was great for them last year. He's getting a low paycheck, but great for him.
I think he's the best guy they had at the time. I don't think they could have afforded someone like Deshaun Watson, or maybe they could have. Who knows? But I think they were forced their hand to having to go to him. The Packers are re-signing tight end Robert Tonyan, which he's a very good tight end. He's on the little bit older side, but he's a very good tight end to have. He got injured midway through last season. Good addition to have him back. We mentioned the Robert Woods trade to the Titans already.
And now the very most recent piece of news is the Falcons are signing Marcus Mariota. I think what really struck their relationship with Matt Ryan was when they were taking calls about Deshaun Watson. He's like, "Oh, you really want to get rid of me? You're gonna move on now, all right?" And then Colts sent a trade once they saw, like you said, and then the Matt Ryan's on the Colts now.
Marcus Mariota's their number one guy now. He's got a chance. It'll be a building year. They got Kyle Pitts. They got Kyle Pitts. They
Cordero. They re-signed Cordero.
Who's that one cornerback on the Falcons? They got really.
There was that good guy. Yeah, there was that good guy last year.
Is it Terrell?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that's the guy. He's very good. But they got some rebuilding to do there in the Falcons vicinity. What else?
And then I really think that the Falcons picked up a good guy. Marcus Mariota was the backup for the Raiders, which I don't think he's a backup quarterback. He's a great quarterback. He's a Heisman-winning quarterback, but he was the best guy out there for the Falcons once they got rid of Matt Ryan, and he's getting on the older side now. But I think he's still a good placeholder guy until you could get those couple years out of him.
Bills are signing wide receiver Jamison Crowder to a 1-year deal. He's a very good wide receiver. Not many people know about him because he plays for the Jets. But I think that was a very good pickup from the Bills to add as a number 2 option to Stephon Diggs because Emmanuel Sanders, I don't believe, will be there next year. Now, let's get into our next segment. Our next segment's going to be March Madness.
Yes, we are. Anytime Sports Podcast. We're going to cover all sports. For this one, I'm just going to go over the teams that are left in the Sweet 16.
And some of the shocking news that event has happened.
Number 1, Gonzaga against number 4, Arkansas. We got number 3, Texas Tech against number 2, Duke. We got North Carolina against UCLA. North Carolina beating the number 1 seed Baylor. We got UCLA is playing North Dakota. Or no, North Carolina. St. Peter's against Purdue. St. Peter's, the 15th seed, beating Kentucky and St. Mary's.
Oh, I mean, that is like a wild story. I mean, that's a very small school beating these bigger schools, and they had yet to have a March Madness win in their school's history. Now they have 2. They're headed on to the Sweet 16. Absolutely phenomenal. Credit to this team. This team fights and they dig, and that's why we love March Madness.
Yeah, Doug of Dirt carrying them on. Arizona number 1 against Houston is the 5th seed. They're against each other in the Sweet 16. Michigan 11 and Villanova the 2nd seed. And then the last one, or the second to last one, is the 1st seed Kansas against number 4 Providence. And then we got the 11th seed Iowa State against the 10th seed Miami.
A couple notable upsets that have happened is number 10 seed Miami torched number 2 seed Auburn. And they become the 13th ACC team to reach the Sweet 16. Iowa State had beaten number 3 Wisconsin, which Big Ten teams, they had 9 enter the tournament, and a lot of them haven't panned out. They had a pretty good odds of one of those teams winning at all, and they blew it up. They really haven't done very good. Michigan stuns Tennessee, a number 3 seed, to win their matchup, and number 9 North Carolina edges out the number 1 Baylor despite Baylor's comeback.
And then also what is notable is, like I mentioned, St. Mary's beating the number 2 seed Kentucky in the first round of the March Madness playoffs. We will not know who moves on to the Elite 8 until this weekend on the 26th and 27th are the next
Are you
games.
looking at your own bracket? Is that what you're looking at?
This isn't my own bracket. No, my own bracket's messed up. I'm not even showing mine right now.
Well, who did you have winning it all?
I think in the final, I had Gonzaga, and I think I had, I can't remember. I had Gonzaga and Villanova in the finals, and Gonzaga winning it all. Villanova and Gonzaga are still in, but the rest of the stuff is messed up.
Yeah, the rest of the stuff are messed up. At least you still got your top 2 that are still in it. Let's go to our next segment. Our next segment is what we like to call the quarterback. Who's going to have the best season?
What you may not know
is in the AFC?
This is actually a presentation for you guys. We're gonna get you all in depth on our next quarterbacks.
Yes, we're gonna
top quarterbacks.
The top 10 quarterbacks in each conference, and this is how we believe they're gonna finish. They're in stat wise. We believe these guys are gonna have great years. Top 10, 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. Not necessarily who's the best right now, comparable with their stats last year. We're just looking at their stats last year, making educated guesses about this year and predictions. And if we're right, we're right, and if we're wrong, you can call us dumb. But
this is based on our opinion. This isn't based off any stats. I didn't look at the stats at all. I just put the stats in there.
I looked at some stats, and a lot of it's based off of their own opinion. But coming in at number 10 in the AFC, Davis Mills. Now, hear me out. Davis Mills, can you go to the next slide? Davis Mills, if you look at his last 4 games, and I don't know if you could see that on the TV, and I probably don't think you can, but I'll explain it. They had a loss versus Tennessee, But if they had a defense there, they probably would have won that game. He was 23 of 33 for 301 yards, 3 touchdown passes. That's very good. And if the Texans have an offensive line to help him out and give him some weapons, he's very good. Why do you think the Texans were okay with letting Deshaun Watson just walk away?
I think
just walk away. They wanted, there was reports coming out, they want to build around Davis Mills. Davis Mills is a guy there in Houston.
Yeah.
He's very good. If you look at the last 4 games, he learned how to be a professional quarterback. Yes, he was a rookie last season, so he was kind of learning his way, and he did very good. Better than some of the other rookies, I'd say.
Yeah, personally, I'm going to admit it. I honestly last year didn't realize that he was a rookie. I didn't know who he was until he showed up at this Jags game and then showed up at this Chargers game slaughtering them. And then I really only knew Tyrod Taylor as a starter last year, but Davis Mills showed up.
Davis Mills showed up in the injury, and he is their guy going forward. I really believe he's a very good alternative for not having Deshaun Watson. He's a very good guy. He can build around him. And he's going to be very good. His deep ball accuracy is very good, as we can see. We'll break down some of the... run the first clip.
And then also I want to mention that I think they went with Davis Mills over Deshaun Watson, because he showed signs of being amazing in these last couple games, and when he actually got the chance to start and actually was consistent, he was great. And plus all their struggles with Deshaun, they didn't know what was going to happen. They were accepting trades for this guy that could get so much value for when they already have this very young guy.
Yeah, do the next
clip. Play
oh, no, you don't have to. You skipped past it twice, didn't you?
No.
Yeah, you did.
All right, we're going to play Colin's first clip.
It'll play automatically, right?
Maybe not.
Yeah, you skip it. Okay, do this one. Or not. Sorry, technical difficulties. Can you press play?
No.
That's fine. We'll just do this one. This clip, 3-step drop. Davis Mills throws. Nice deep ball touch. Right in... And there's a touchdown. You can mute your computer because you don't need the sound.
That's fine.
I'd mute it.
Davis Mills throwing absolute dots. Oh. Okay, that goes on to our next guy. We don't look at that. All right. So let's just cover up Davis Mills. Honestly, great number 10 for you, even though the AFC is stacked.
He's stacked with quarterbacks, but I believe this guy could. I put him over someone like Trevor Lawrence just because I just don't know what Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Even though he's the number 1 draft pick, he's very good, very talented. Probably even more talented than Davis Mills, but I think Davis Mills will have a better stat line.
Even though
next season.
Both guys seem kind of similar to me. Davis Mills showed more signs last year. Trevor Lawrence was kind of just meh last year. Maybe this year with a better coach and a better system, he'll be great. He could prove us wrong. We never know. Davis Mills and Trevor Lawrence.
Heading on to number 9. Number 9 would be Mitchell Trubisky. Now, hold up. Wait a minute. Did you just say Mitchell Trubisky? Yes, I did. I said Mitch Trubisky is going to be the number 9 best stat line quarterback in the AFC next season. If you think about it, he was failed by the Chicago coaching staff. We all know now that Matt Nagy was not as good as he was as a head coach. He was kind of failed from the beginning. There was reports coming out that he didn't meet with Mitchell Trubisky at the end of year meetings, and he was not very helping the young quarterback out. I believe he needed to change the scenery. He went to Buffalo, and if we all remember, Buffalo kind of fixed Josh Allen to what he was. His rookie year wasn't as great. They fixed some mechanical issues, and he went on to be the quarterback he is now today. I think they could do the same thing with Mitchell Trubisky. I think Mitchell Trubisky is a good young prospect, and I believe he, with another shot, with a good coaching staff like he'll have in Pittsburgh, I think it'll be a great option. Run the first clip.
And then real quick, I want to mention most of these guys you'll see in here are from the AFC North and the AFC West because those divisions are absolutely stacked.
The stat line, his stat line is career touchdowns. He has 64 to 38 interceptions. Not that great. Honestly, I think they could fix the interception issues that Trubisky has had. His best year was in 2018 when he had 24 touchdowns to 12 interceptions.
We all know those 2018 Bears were insane.
Yeah, so let's head into the first clip. First clip of him as a Bill in the regular season. It'll play automatically. You just got to wait. And many people say he's slow. Well, I don't believe so. I think he's got some speed to him. He's got a little kick to him. A bootleg out for a touchdown. Very good.
Fast guy.
The next clip is him throwing in the Bears preseason game. 1-2 step drop, feels the pressure, unloads, fires it to the outside. Beautiful out route right there. Mitchell Trubisky threw the ball right on the money. Just for a 5-yard game, he doesn't have to hit you the home run ball every single time, but he's a very good quarterback. Now heading on to...
Wait, real quick, I want to mention about Mitch before we move on to Deshaun. I want to mention that last year, he really didn't get much of a shot to start, just like Marcus Mariota, just because they were starting behind guys that are so great, like Derek Carr, and Mitch Trubisky was starting behind Josh Allen. They didn't get much chances to play last year, which would be great because they'll be wanting revenge, wanting a vengeance. And then next quarterback.
Next quarterback is Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is at
He's gonna make his return
8 because he's been out for a year. We know he's very good. We know he's a very good quarterback. His stats prove that. In fact, and this offense looks very dangerous on paper, but it's very much a run game. But now they have the ability to pass. I believe they will pass, but it'll be a little learning curve, in my opinion. In the beginning of the season, he'll maybe the first 4 weeks not be as good as he was ending his season at the Texans 2 years ago. But I do believe he's going to have a great season. I believe he'll be in the top 10 AFC quarterbacks. If you want to go to the stat line, you definitely can't read that with the background, all that. So I will say he's got 1,400 yards, 104 touchdowns to 36 interceptions. He's a very good quarterback, and
he showed his stats.
Let's run the clip. I don't even know if they'll be able to see it.
They can see the clip.
Explain it. Watson steps back, unloads, fires the ball downfield to a beautiful DeAndre Hopkins. That's how long he was out for. DeAndre Hopkins on the Texans. So that is very good. Go to the next clip.
On to the next clip.
The next clip, Deshaun Watson snaps it into a play action, nice bootleg, steps back, good protection, throws, nice deep ball touch to a wide open Brandon Cooks on that round. So he's got the deep ball, he knows how to use it, and that's why he is at my number 8.
Overall, Deshaun Watson with a better unit with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, the good 1-2, and they got the good receivers. They got Amari Cooper now. They'll be a great team next year, a solid team to compete in the AFC, along with that amazing O-line. So if Deshaun gets some time in the pocket, we know he can run. If he gets some time in the pocket, he'll also sling the ball as well.
Very much so. At number 7, I have Derek Carr, and for very good reasons. He had a very good 2021 season. He surprised most of us, and he led that team to the playoffs, and they were first-round exits, but he was a very good quarterback. He was above average, I'd say, and I think he'll be above average this season. He's number 7 on my list in top 10 quarterbacks, and mostly because the reuniting of college roommates, Davante Adams and Derek Carr. These two are very close. They work in the offseason. They have worked in the offseason before. That's why I believe Derek Carr is going to be a really good quarterback. And I believe he'll be ahead of someone like Deshaun Watson just because Deshaun Watson hasn't played for a while.
Especially, he could even be higher than 7. Especially that you see he has this Davante. He has that connection. He has that special connection that Davante and Aaron Rodgers don't have because they played together in his early stages. You see how he developed in Green Bay. Moving that over.
And they do practice during the offseason, and they've thrown together in the offseason. So, I mean, these two are very familiar with each other. I think it'll be very easy, quick, off the go. They're ready to go. I could definitely see him doing that. We have a couple clips here for you to show
his
stat line. He's at 193 touchdowns to 85 interceptions. His rating is 92.4.
He's basically gotten better over the years. His
2021 stats, like I was mentioning, they kind of tapered off, but he had 23 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Very good year for him.
All right, on to the clips.
First clip, if you want to press play, can you... you can get the mouse thing out of the way. Steps back, throws, beautiful ball in the middle to the tight end. Right open, very quick, 1-2 seconds. That is how you're supposed to be done, how you're taught as a quarterback. Now against Washington. Now against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers have a very good defense. This is earlier on in the season. Sorry it's not playing. But it's playing right now. Derek Carr steps back, 2 steps, fires, throws to a wide open Henry Ruggs. which he won't have this season. But it was a nice in-route run by him and beautifully on the money, threading the needle between the DBs. That is why he is at number 7, in my opinion.
All right,
Number 6 would have to be the Russell Wilson himself, moving from the NFC to the AFC. And the reason why he's number 6 is because he kind of had a lull of a season last year. Yes, he did get injured, and they weren't as good, but he didn't look as great. But I believe he can fix that here in Denver. Denver is a very unique opportunity to thrive there. They got a good offensive line. They can get a run game going. They got some good wide receivers, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, some good guys there, and they got something to build on. And I believe in Denver, you could throw that ball mile high. So he's gonna have a whale,
mile high reference. Yeah, but
a whale of a time throwing the ball there, and I think that's why I think Russell Wilson will be number 6 on my list.
Which I think they should also pick up Bobby Wagner to help that defense out. The defense is amazing. It's a very young team. Russell Wilson's got a few years left in him. I think it's a great pickup by Denver. He could ball out next year. Obviously, you said he could. Even though we could see Derek Carr being better than Russell Wilson, we could see Russell Wilson being like last year, end of season Russell Wilson. We never know. We could see Russell Wilson being like how we know he can play. His stat line.
His last season stat line, he threw 3,000 yards, 25 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. His career touchdown to interception is 292 touchdowns to 87 interceptions. He had a 101.8 quarterback rating. And now that he ruined it, number 5 would have to be, you went too far, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is a very good quarterback. He was... I got to stop saying very good quarterback. I'm saying very good quarterback to all these guys because, of course, if you're top 10 in your division, you're going to be a good quarterback. At number 5, I have Lamar Jackson, mostly because he was injured last season. And we don't know with that offense how it's going to be. Maybe if they get AB, it could be electric. But we haven't seen sort of a great... Not like... He's had good seasons, but have an amazing season like he did at the MVP type year. His stat line goes as follows. 2021, he was... how many yards? He is 2,800 yards, 16 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. Not a very good touchdown-interception ratio, but he was injured. Maybe a couple of those games he gets him back. Gets some more TDs. But he's a very good running guy, too. So I think his stat line, he's top 5. I think he's definitely dropped, but I think he's got something to prove, and I hope he proves me wrong.
Real quick, Colin, I want to call you out on something. Colin made the AFC list, just so you guys know, and I'm disappointed that you didn't include Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert? Yeah, he's on there.
You didn't include Justin Herbert in your list?
Herbert's in my list.
No, he's not on your list.
He's in my list. Yeah, he's in my list.
Where?
I think I forgot to make a slide for him, but
you forgot to make. We could have him be number 4 with this next guy. They could both be on the same stat line because they're both the same.
Well, no,
someone's skill set.
I have number. Yeah, we forgot number 3. Here, you can explain number 4. Well, I will quickly get a number 3 because we didn't put number 3 down there, and as you know now, you probably know what it is.
Number 4, obviously. Joe Burr. All right, Joe Burr. Make it to the Super Bowl run. I don't know if it's because it was an easy AFC last year. It's going to be a very interesting season just due to the fact and how many great teams are going to be in the AFC this year and how many teams he's going to have to go against, how he's going to have to go against the Browns twice, the Steelers twice, and the Broncos twice. We know that they're not the same division. No, and the Ravens twice. My bad. But yeah, he's gonna have to go against some tough competition. Maybe get some help on the line, obviously this year. But I think Joe Burrow definitely gonna be a top quarterback. While Colin finishes up, I'm gonna try to stall for a bit. Most definitely made the Super Bowl.
Just explain
they're a very young team.
It's a very young team, very good receiving core, very young. You got Tyler Boyd, you got T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. Definitely could get better on the offensive line. I think they did do so, and I think they're moving forward in the right direction as a team. One question mark I have, I like the coaching. I just don't think it's as great as other coaches.
Yeah. We'll get into his stat line real quick. Joe Burrow only had 2 years his first First season, he had 2,000 yards for 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Last season, 4,600 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions, which is great. He had the Jamar Chase connection, made it to the Super Bowl just because of that connection, I believe. They need a better defense. They were a great team. They could have beat that Rams team if they had one big guy on their defense. Maybe Bobby Wagner, who's still out there. Maybe Stephon Gilmore. Maybe one of those older guys, like a veteran that could coach the younger guys.
Definitely so, and we can move on to our next guy if we do so.
No. All right, we need to load back in. I'm going to exit out of this presentation real quick, and don't mind the number 2. And we just saw right there, experiencing technical difficulties.
Just press slideshow again, it's loaded.
Yep, and we're going to, call Colin out, and we're going to the next guy. In 1 second.
Oh, number 3, Justin Herbert. Like he spoiled already. It was on my list. Justin Herbert was the guy. They did a very good job last season. I think Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow are the exact same. I think their stat line, it could have been either or, and I definitely do believe that he's got a very good situation with that defense being as good as it is. It'll allow him to be on the field more and put less pressure on him. That's why I do believe he can honestly make a run. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Justin Herbert, he's shown last year when he was pushing through in the final overtime against the Raiders last year.
A lot of fourth downs.
I think that a lot of fourth downs. He's a fighting quarterback. He's a great guy. He's a very, very accurate and very strong quarterback. I think he has a great shot to maybe beat some of these other guys on the top 2 and 1 in the AFC next year. Chargers could make a run with that electric defense next year. I know me and Colin are going to try to go to the Chargers game if we can in Indy, but I keep mentioning that every episode. But Justin Herbert most definitely going to be a great guy next year. Let's go to his stat line.
His stat line is as follows. He's got 69 career touchdowns. Nice. He's got 25 interceptions. He's got a 97.9 rating. Very good rating for
so far. Great
Justin
stats
Herbert.
For 2 years in the league, it's great stats. Number 2.
Patrick Mahomes as follows. I think he's going to have a Patrick Mahomes type season. We all take it for granted. Patrick Mahomes is a very good quarterback. He'll be number 2 on the stat line this season. And let's go to his career stats. Enough said about him. We already said. So he's got 151 career touchdowns, 37 interceptions, 1,800 yards. In his career last season, he had 4,839 yards with 37 TDs and 13 interceptions. Obviously, he has the most interceptions since 2018, but that could be helped out.
Yeah, I think what that could take to kill a Chiefs team is one major injury. Travis Kelce getting injured, Tyreek Hill getting injured. One of those main guys getting injured. I think that Chiefs team is going to have a tough time against an amazing AFC whole conference, really.
And now to the number 1 guy on my list, Josh Allen.
I'd agree with that 100%.
Josh Allen is going to have a amazing season. I do think their defense has gotten better to put him on the field more, and I definitely do believe they can address that run game, get some more guys in there, and get an actual run game going to help their pass game. They just signed
Von Miller.
Von Miller, yeah, I was going to say Von Miller, but they also signed the wide receiver that I had just mentioned, Jamison Crowder. He's a very good wide receiver. He can be a very good wide receiver, too. They got Stephon Diggs. Of course, they got a lot of guys there, and I do believe Josh Allen will have the best stat line out of all the AFC quarterbacks this season.
They did release Cole Beasley as well, but he wasn't much of a help last year. They didn't really utilize him last year, so I think Josh Allen's a great shot to be number 1. He's going to come bouncing back after that overtime loss, which they are changing the overtime rules, I believe. Teams have submitted proposals.
Overtime rules for the playoffs.
Yeah, for the playoffs. Yeah. Josh Allen, the Bills have made runs every year. They've been this close every single year. I think this is their year. All right. On to his stat line.
His stat line goes as follows. He's got 103 touchdowns to 46 interceptions. His passer rating is 91. Last season, he has 4,400 yards with 36 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Very good stat line for the year. Let's go. And that is my list.
On top QBs of the NFC now.
This is your list.
This is my list. All right, number 10. You got schoolboy Carson Wentz. The NFC isn't as stacked as the AFC right now. The NFC is.
Oh my gosh! That photo looks like he's a high school senior.
Dude,
he's
that
a
is
high
so
school
funny.
senior on his senior night. His mom
Dude.
made him take that photo, and he's cross-armed like.
It's such a funny picture.
It's
He's
so
like,
bad.
His eyes
Why
are
would
so
I agree to take that photo? I don't know. I don't know if I agree with you that he's number 10, but
who else is there in the NFC?
Well,
How can you list 10
let's
quarterbacks in the NFC? He's the bottom tier of the list. How can you list 10 quarterbacks in the NFC that are that great?
let me, sir. You continue, and I'll get back to you.
All right, yeah, I think Carson Wentz. He's with a new team. He's with Gibson. He's with Scary Terry. I think he could ball out just enough to make it on my list. And I kind of wanted to put this picture on here as well, but yeah, I mean, there's not many great teams in the NFC, like we've mentioned. They're gonna have a tough go at it. All right, on to his stat line. We know he was with the Eagles for a while. He has 20,000 career yards, 140 touchdowns, and 57 interceptions. We saw last year. I know we discussed this a bit, but towards the end of last year, he's looked great. He looked like coming up to the Jags game, he was having an amazing end of the season. They made a run.
Matt Ryan over.
Matt Ryan, he's in the AFC now.
No, he's in the NFC. He's in the Falcon. He's
on the Colts.
He's
on the Colts.
No.
That's why I didn't take him.
Yeah, I would have added him, but okay. Yeah,
all right.
I totally forgot. I had the biggest brain fart of all.
On to number 9, Kirk Cousins. I know we said Kirk Cousins is overrated.
You like that? You like that? No, I don't like that, Kurt. No, I don't like that, Kurt.
You know.
I had to say it. I'm sorry, I had to say it.
You know, Kirk Cousins. We've mentioned this multiple times on the podcast. We had a whole episode saying he's overrated. No, I said, or people are saying he's underrated. We say he's overrated. I don't know.
Jameis Winston is my.
Jameis
I would
Winston,
put it number 10.
Yeah, he's arguably for number 10. That was before he re-signed, though. I made this before he re-signed.
It's all right. You're good.
That's my argument. But yeah, Kirk Cousins. He's played good. He's played bad multiple years. I think I liked him when he was on Washington. Not so much in Minnesota. Minnesota's been sort of a Chicago team to me. I don't know if I feel this is because I'm biased or not, but all right.
He's very good. He's very
on his stat line. Total is 32,593 career yards, 223 touchdowns, and 91 interceptions.
He had a very good year last year, and if you look at his year,
this is
the
best
same
year.
where Carson Wentz got his MVP season. It's very similar.
Yeah.
33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. He had a very good year. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback by any means, but he's not terrible. You know, he's not bad.
He's a top 9 quarterback.
He's a top 9 quarterback. Yes. Number 8 is
Kyler Murray.
On your list.
I mean,
why number?
I
number
put
8, Kyler Murray on your list. I saw the other guys that are ahead of him. There's no way Kyler Murray is going to have a number 8 type year.
It's
you
arguable.
Think he's going to have a down year?
Maybe it's arguable. I don't know. He folded under pressure. Last year he was amazing. He folded under pressure. I don't know if it's because he was exhausted because of the regular season. I might say my bad on this and might move him up to number maybe 6 or 5. But
I mean,
yeah, it's my bad on this.
It's kind of low for him. But I mean, why do you don't think he's gonna have a great season? Explain your thoughts.
I don't know. I'm just really when I'm thinking of Kyler, I'm thinking the end of season Kyler, the playoff choking Kyler. Even though I kind of forget that they went like 9-0 for most of the season. I think they got to 12-0 at a point, but they folded under pressure at the end of the season last year. But Kyler Murray proved me wrong. I want to see him. He's a good guy. I like to watch him play. He's small, but
he's small. That's
right.
why you like to watch him play.
There's his stat line.
Rear stat line.
70 touchdowns, 32 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
On to number 7. I'd move Dak to 8, honestly, and move Kyler down. Dak, you know.
No, I mean, I would move Dak up to top 2, top 3.
Top 3?
He's gonna have a great year next year. Let's be honest. I mean, you got James Washington there, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. That offense is absolutely packed. You know, their offensive line is always good. They're in Dallas. But why do you have him at number 7?
I have him number 7 because I mean the guys before him I think are better, arguably, but I think I could possibly move my next guy after this up in place of Dak. But yeah, I honestly think Dak is better than the next guy. But I mean, Dak, we know Dak. He played amazing last year. Cowboys played lights out. Possibly this year, getting rid of some guys that they don't need anymore. Getting some more cap space so they can make some more signings in the offseason. His stat line, he has 143 touchdowns, 50 interceptions, which is great. On to my next one. Jalen Hurts, I'd put him above Dak.
No. Why? I hate your list. This is the worst list I've ever seen.
This is a hot take list.
This is the most...
This is a hot take list.
I'm
not going to say anything about Jalen Hurts.
Hurts is going to have a better season than Dak. Is that what you're saying? You're saying Hurts is going to have a better season
22
than Dak.
touchdowns,
Hurts is not
13
going to have a better season
interceptions
than Dak.
in his career.
Oh, my gosh.
We're moving on.
That pisses me off. Just because I think Dak's set up for success, where in Philly, Jalen's not really set up for success.
All right, then
I'll
move Jalen up.
No. This is your list. It's not.
I'm moving Jalen Hurts above Kyler Murray.
It's not my list. This is your list. So stick to what you like. I like that you're sticking to what you like. Let's move on to number 5, though.
Justin Fields. Number 5. I'm not biased at all. I'm saying he's gonna be the best quarterback Chicago's ever had. He's got a year set.
What does the coach think about the ranking? Too low. Number 1.
Yeah, Dicka. Speak up. Oh God.
Yeah.
All right. What? Justin Fields, young guy, showed talent last year. I think Eberflus and come on, Dicka. All right. I think Eberflus will coach him, even though Eberflus isn't calling offensive plays. I think he's going to be a good motivator on that team. Justin Fields, he was getting more reps in the offseason with not with Juju. I forgot. They don't have Juju anymore.
Pass game coordinator coach came over to be our offensive coordinator. So that should be very good for us.
Another thing, he's going to be calling plays, which we know he was great for the Packers. I mean, I don't know which guy you'll need to coach Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, it's the Packers. They went great last year. But I think Justin Fields and Darnold Mooney is going to be a top receiver duo in the league.
Oh, wow. Top receiver duo.
Top receiver
That's
quarterback
a
duo in the league.
bold
7
statement.
touchdowns, 10 interceptions. We know he didn't have much weapons. He's going to get handed off to Montgomery more.
Okay.
All right, number 4, Trey Lance / Jimmy G.
Oh, my God.
All right, we don't know who's going to start here. They haven't specified they're going to get rid of Jimmy G. They're accepting trade offers, but no team really left needs a quarterback. We looked at that. Marcus Mariota went to the Falcons.
I agree with Trey Lance, but Jimmy G is not is top 10, but he's lower on the list if he is.
I'm including both of them on this list just because.
But Trey Lance is going to be a top 3 guy, top 4 guy.
It depends who they start with.
He's absolutely phenomenal if you look at him in practice and what he's done, what reports have come out and said. He is a very good quarterback. I think 4 would be a good thing, but Jimmy G 4.
Let's address this. What do you think is going to go down in San Francisco? What's the San Francisco quarterback situation?
It's Trey Lance. Trey Lance is going to play.
But what are they doing?
They're waiting to ship out Jimmy G. Like I said, there isn't any incentive in dealing him right away.
They did get I think they did get 2 firsts from the Colts for him, but they didn't accept it. They wanted more, which I think you take it and run. For when you get 2 firsts for Jimmy G, I think you take
2 firsts. No, I don't think they offered him 2 firsts for him.
I think I saw that they offered him 2 firsts. But I think I don't know what the Niners are gonna do if they're gonna stick with Jimmy G. I don't think if he goes, I don't think they'll release him. I think they'll keep him, possibly give Trey Lance more reps next year. But if they don't release Jimmy, they'll probably keep Jimmy, maybe start him for a bit until Trey is ready. But I wanted to see Trey play, honestly. Even though Jimmy G's my Eastern guy, I really want to see Trey play, help the Niners shine. All right, their stat lines. It's Jimmy G's. He has 71 touchdowns, 38 interceptions, and Colin just farted.
Hey, you don't have to say that.
Yeah, that was nice. Trey Lance, he has 600 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Didn't get many reps last year, but I'm looking forward to him playing next year. Number 3, like the picture, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's Aaron Rodgers when he found out Devontae Adams was not going to play with him.
This is a hot take, too. He could either be better than last year without Devontae, which I think he's going to go through some struggles. They need to pick up a guy.
He's top 3, so he's definitely top 3. You have him at 3 right now, so why do you think he's at 3 and not at 2 and 1?
The reason I wouldn't put him at 2 and 1 is because you're not so definite on what his weapons are going to be. If you have Allen Lazard as your number 1, that's not great. You need to pick up OBJ. You need to pick up Julio Jones. You need to pick up those guys that'll lead your team like Devontae has in these past years. But right now, their 1 and 2 are Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb, which we know him and Randall Cobb have had past experiences together. But I don't think he's a number 2 receiver. Really, Aaron Rodgers not having that Devontae connection this year will really impact his grade on my sheet. Stat line, 45 career touch. Oh no, that's that. Nah, never mind. That's from 2011. I'm gonna read off his 2021 stats. He had 37 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 4,115 yards. I think Devontae played a major role in those yards. Aaron Rodgers played a major role in Devontae's part, and they all basically played together. But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to go through some struggles these first weeks until he finds out what he's good with and who he's good with.
Who knows? I think he's still a very, very, very dang good quarterback. So
This guy would for sure put over Aaron Rodgers based off his past performance. Matthew Stafford. We know he played amazing with the Rams. Give him that Allen Robinson. Give him that Cooper Kupp connection again. That 1-2 connection. Matthew Stafford will definitely be a top 2 quarterback this year. Next year, but I think he played amazing. He won the Super Bowl, obviously. He was hitting Cooper Kupp. He had some struggles. We know Matthew Stafford folds under pressure. But we do know that his fourth quarter, Matthew Stafford, is unstoppable. His stat line, 41 touchdowns, 17 interceptions last year. Year before that, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. This Rams team really improved from his Lions. Matthew Stafford's career pretty much got revived with that new receiver, Allen Robinson, like I mentioned. And with that Van Jefferson and Cooper Kupp connection, that'll be amazing for them.
So you think he's going to be number 2?
Yeah. Would you put Aaron Rodgers over Matthew Stafford?
I put Aaron Rodgers at number 2. I don't think I could justify putting him at number 1, but I could justify putting him at number 2.
How would you put him at number 2 if he doesn't have that connection?
I just think he'll find a way. Robert Tunyon's very good. He's got some other guys. Marcus Valdez-Scantling. He's not under contract. Yes, I was just about to say he's not under contract yet. But they got some guys they could definitely draft. This wide receiver draft is very deep. So they can get a couple guys that I think could work out definitely. So, and I think Matthew Stafford just at times can get very inconsistent. So who knows? I see your point, but I also see other points too. So let's move on to the next one.
Number 1. The GOAT himself.
Why'd you have
Tom Brady.
Creamsicle jersey?
Why do you not? These jerseys are clean.
Creamsicle's
let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments. Are the creamsicle jerseys clean?
If I get like 10 comments saying that the creamsicle jerseys are good, I will buy a creamsicle jersey.
You hear that, Shirag? Shirag Gupta. Spam the comments.
I will
Shirag. Spam the comments.
I will buy a Tom. Not a Tom, I'll buy another creamsicle jersey. I absolutely hate those things. I despise them. They're the worst jersey to ever.
They are so clean. We're gonna have a segment one time called like jersey debates or something. But I just think they're so clean. Like Tom Brady on the left, look at him posting up with his buzz cut.
I'm deleting that photo.
No, it's not gonna delete off here because it's a presentation. I love the logo on their helmet is so clean. I wanted to get like one of these little Vikings helmets with the creamsicle helmet logo, which I might do for our set. I might get that for our set. But it's just so clean.
So bad.
Even though the color is debatable, it's clean to me. I wouldn't personally rock this jersey myself, but seeing it playing on the field in that Tampa Heat.
That photo. Come on. It's funny. Let's go to his stat line.
All right, no. We're just gonna keep going these creamsicle jerseys.
No,
it's such a clean logo. It's such a clean color. All right, wait. Buzz, defend me in the comments, just so you know. These are clean jerseys.
These are not. It's a bad jersey.
Last year, 43 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. On the real, that was Tom Brady's best season in the past 10 years, touchdown-wise and interception-wise. 5,000 yards, best season out of those as well. We know Tom Brady plays amazing. He's coming back out of retirement. I want the Bucs to pick up Julio Jones. They're going to get that Tom Brady, Julio Jones connection. If not that, they have Mike Evans. They do have Chris Godwin under a franchise tag again.
They did sign Russell Gage, so that's a guy that's very underrated.
I think really killed that Buccaneers team towards the end of the season was injuries. Really, Chris Godwin got injured.
Definitely, a healthy Buccaneers team would definitely absolutely destroy it.
We saw that when we were at dinner that time. Right. Chris Godwin absolutely landed on his neck, and he was obliterated out for the season. I think
Achilles.
Yeah. Get this Bucs team healthy. Tom Brady will be a number 1 quarterback easily. This Bucs team will be in the Super Bowl. Last year, if they were healthy, Chris Godwin was there. Mike Evans was healthy. I think they could have beat the Rams and made it to the Super Bowl and beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl. Honestly, that was my opinion. But I think it's going to be a Bucs-Bills Super Bowl. I called that in the past podcast episode, but I think it's going to be a Bucs-Bills Super Bowl this year based off our 1 quarterbacks. It's a hot take. Very interesting season.
And that's our segment, and that's our top 10 segment.
Yep.
Let us know how we did in the comment sections below.
Real quick before we go, we might take a week off of podcasting. Just check our Instagram for updates. I'm going to be on vacation. Colin's going to be on a little vacation as well.
Yeah, it should be. So it'll be fun. Thank you guys for supporting us. Subscribe if you like the content. Comment.
Hold up.
And
there we go.
comments in the comments section. Tell them that the Creamsicles suck, and I would love you forever. Thank you. This has been the Anytime Sports Podcast, and we'll see you later.
See you.
Tell me what you really see. Gotta let me know. Gotta